wanted to show you a quick tutorial on what materials I use and how I work with wool applique. I think is one of the easier ways to start working on applique and to experience that a little bit because of the ease of the working with the wool, which I'll show you in a second. The supplies I use are just regular freezer paper. It is matte on one side and shiny on one side, and I use this for tracing my templates. And I used to use all glue, little droplets of glue, which you can still absolutely do. But I've switched almost entirely with my wool applique to using these lightweight fusible sheets. I use these two interchangeably, Clover Wonder Fuse or the Soft Fuse Premium. They both come in sets of 10 sheets. They look like this. They are backed on one side and you press them to the back of your piece of wool. I love them and they make this process so easy. So I have cut a couple of those to show you guys how I do that. Then I use just neutral Aurifil thread, a straw needle, and my instructions. So the way I start is we're working with from the Midnight in the Garden block of the month here, so I'm just showing you on that guy, but you can obviously use this for any kind of wool applique. It's the same. We're adding this leaf to our block, and so I've traced the leaf directly onto a piece of freezer paper, and then I've cut it out. It is sticky on one side, slightly sticky. This is reusable. You can basically keep using it over and over and over again until it loses its stickiness and will no longer press down to your fabric with an iron. And so in here, I've taken a piece of this fusible onto the back, and I've just pressed it to the back of a piece of the wool that I know I'm going to be using. Like I said, I use them both interchangeably. I would then take my template and trace it to my piece of fabric with a permanent marker. I would trace that just basically right on the shape itself and cut it out. So I've already done that. That's basically how I would do that. Then cut that out. As you can see here, I've already done that. And actually I will do that so I can show you because I will need another one. So wool has two sides to it. It has kind of the fuzzy side and the more textured side. So you can choose which one you want to use more. I like the furry side. I think technically the textured side is supposed to be the back, but if you like the opposite, then do the opposite. It doesn't matter. So you now have a piece here like this, and then that piece of paper comes right off from the back of your piece, and you have a lined, it's super lightweight, you can't even tell that it's there, piece of wool that you're going to be using for your applique. In the case of these blocks that we're using, we're going to be adding basically two leaves right here, like that. So I've already pressed this one on because of that fusible on the back. It's adhesive, and you just press it lightly and it sticks to your background. So I then will just use a single length of thread. This is probably too long for what you guys should have, but I'm lazy, and so I do long pieces of thread. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring it in about 1/8 of an inch or less into my shape, and I'm going to start whip stitching. And so it's just going to go into the background, and then I'm going to bring it over about 1/8 of an inch over again, and that's going to be one stitch back into the background, 1/8 of an inch, 2 stitch. I don't do anything specialty. I don't do a blanket stitch. I basically do a whip stitch with a color that I know will disappear into my wool. That's the look that I like. Of course, you can do any look that you like. You can do decorative stitches. You can do a blanket stitch. So it's super easy. It hides. The way I do this is basically it disappears. So as you can see, you can probably not even tell where those are unless I bring it right up to the camera where those stitches are. It's 1/8 of an inch over and 1/8 of an inch in. The tip that I want to give you is don't go too close to the edge because wool does fray a little bit on the outside, unlike cotton. So you're going to want to go in that full 1/8. If I was doing cotton, I wouldn't go all the way 1/8 of an inch because it would be unnecessary. So I would basically just continue this around my entire shape. Ouch. And that is the extent of that. It's a very simple process. That's why I love to introduce people to applique with wool. If I were to continue to do this here, I'm not sure you guys want to watch me do this for this long, but if I was here on the end, what I would do, I'll just do this and I'm going to take the thread out later, but I would start here and ignore that long stitch thread. I'm just doing that so I can show you all in one video. I would take it here and I would be careful to not grab the threads of my point because it's going to fall apart in wool. So I would do it on that side and then I would basically flip over and I would do it, oops, on that side, and then I would flip it over to the other side of my point, leaving the point without touching it. Otherwise, I'm going to basically mush it down with my thread. That's what would happen with a piece of wool. So I'll just start again on the other side, leaving my point of the piece. And again, it's wool. It's meant to be, it's a folk art. If you have a soft corner, soft edge, it's really not a big deal. If you're working on an inner point, then I would actually reinforce it twice, usually in the inner point. I don't have one here, so I can't show you that one. But that is basically the extent of what it would take to do. This is the pieces in this program are just big, chunky, nice pieces that are really easy for a beginning appliquer. So when you're done with that guy, you will have 2 leaves that you've positioned according to the placement diagram in your pattern. And you'll have one on this side and one on this side like that. So hopefully that helps you guys feel like this is not intimidating at all. So the only thing you want to do here is you want to line those up like that. Okay? Hope this helps. Thanks, you guys.